Mm, Should be pretty quick today. Um, Welcome to Western Region Meeting, everybody. I just wanted to stress again, and I know I've been sending out these newsletters saying the same thing, and I probably sound like a broken record at this point, but provider follow-up right now, so important. It's only once a week on your Trello board, but make sure you're checking in 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, just to make sure that they know they've got to do what they've got to do. So assigning their therapists and entering their schedules, those are really going to impact your timeline. Let's see. Anyone have questions about that?
Nope.
It's just kind of crunch time, so I wonder if that was me trying to get in. Let's see if she jumps in. All right. Checking your summer services. Um, for those of you who had ESY and summer AC lines, it's a good time to check that they were all provided. All the time was provided, checking your THO. If not, follow up to see if there's more billing from the provider that needs to be submitted. Um, some of them go to the end of August, so they may not be able to bill all the way yet, but you can follow up just to see if there's more. Other schools, you guys, your ESY ended in July, so all the billing should be in by now. If there is no more billing, turn off the CPR with a note with an explanation of why there isn't. ESY is usually forfeited. AC time over the summer, some schools you guys forfeit that and sometimes not. So if the AC time is not forfeited at your school, you can go ahead and extend the line so the provider can continue to provide that time that's owed. Just check your school's policy and be aware of which circumstance you guys fall under. The monthly tasks you can do that will help with these summer services. Check that all providers have billed. Check THO and review AC lines. So if you prefer to just do the task and don't want to have to think that much about what you need to do, those are the 3 tasks you could do, and that should cover it for making sure your summer services are provided. Any questions on that?
Nope.
Okay. Our new contracting process. So we do have a new checklist that should be added to your contracting board. And this is only for schools with K-12 contracts. If you have your own school contract, this you can zone out for this part. This won't apply to you. But this new checklist will be added to your Trello boards. It may be tweaked a little more than what it is right here, but this is basically the new process. So um, the provider hunter will send an introduction email that will include you and the provider. So hopefully that will prevent any of those, where Lena is communicating and then you try to reach out and they don't respond. Hopefully this will prevent those situations. That seems to happen pretty often. At that point, you'll want to introduce yourself and negotiate, add their information to RSM. Throughout the process, you want to update the contracts tab, complete the submission form and the addendum, make sure when you're completing the addendum that you remove all the red the red text. And if you're going to get the addendum from SharePoint, make sure you download it from SharePoint and don't just edit the copy that's in SharePoint. I guess that's happened a few times since it's been there in the shared files. So make sure you download it before you make any changes. And then once you have those two forms filled out, you'll send it to your SPM for approval. Then send it to Related Services. Once it comes back and it's fully executed, you will mark the provider as active and then email Related Services again so that rates can be added, and then train the provider and grant them access. Any questions on this? All right, then. Just some reminders about email. Basic etiquette, just respond within 24 hours of receiving an email. And on the flip side, give providers, teachers, your SPM 24 hours to respond to you. If you get an email that has something in it that you can do within 5 minutes, do it right away. Just get it knocked off your list before it's added to a list. So, and then, respond, done, or whatever. And then if you have a more complex email, give yourself time to kind of absorb the information. I can say personally, when I rush into responding to an email, a lot of times I'm missing part of the information that's in there, or I don't give a complete answer. So I try to kind of just sit on those emails for a minute and come back to them later in the day when I've had time to think about it. Make sure you're blocking off time for email, and then put it aside and go to work, because it's one of the biggest time sinks. If you let it be a time sink, it will be. So give yourself a chunk of time to check it. I usually check mine in the morning. Then I'll go do my tasks and then come back to it at the end of the day. I usually do check it in the middle of the day as well. So after I get through a big task, I'll come back and check email, and then I'll do another task. But you can be pulled into email all day and never actually get any of your tasks done. So make sure that you are kind of chunking off time for that. And then finally, we are maybe using Zoom in the future. Probably for the next Western data digs, we'll be using Zoom instead of Skype. And I know for some of you, you're probably happy about that, because Skype can be a big headache for a lot of us. So, but as with anything new, I'm sure there's going to be quirks and things that we're either going to have to get used to, or we'll just keep in mind it's something new, and always with something new, there's always some interesting situations. So just a heads up about that. And that's it for today. I know you're all busy getting ready for school, so yeah, exactly, Caroline. So if you guys have any questions or anything you want to share with the group, feel free. Otherwise, you're free to go back to work.
Thanks, Kate.
All right, thanks, you guys. Have a great
Bye.
day.